We'll get to the CBA in just a second because it feels like the players got hosed. It does not look like a good deal for the players whatsoever.
Why are you saying that?
More games, obviously. One more game if you do the play-in tournament. The midseason tournament makes no sense whatsoever to me. That's a joke.
I agree.
You look at the cut for the play-in tournament. They were talking about $1 million for a long time. Now it's down to $500,000. The All-NBA stuff, I'm not mad at that. You have to play at least 65 games.
Yeah, I like
getting
that.
named for an award in the All-NBA teams. I'm
that.
cool with that. I'm definitely cool with that. But it just feels like they rushed this deal instead of waiting it out. What was the rush to get it done a week before the season ends? To me, it feels like you could have waited and sure, the looming strike and everything is going to play over everybody's heads. But they could have sat down at the table and said, hold on a minute here. The roster spots, and then you talk about the secondary luxury tax threshold. So with this luxury tax threshold, where you can't go over $17.5 million with the luxury tax, if that rule was implemented in today's game for this season, the Warriors would not have Dante DiVincenzo.
I know.
So it feels like teams that develop their own talent and pay them money are getting punished here.
I know.
The top dogs are getting punished while the middlemen and the small market teams get a lifeline here.
Well, there's you see this in baseball too, B, and I think the difference between baseball, basketball, put them to one side, and versus football. Football, every single dollar is collectively bargained, and the TV deals are bargained nationally as a whole. Whereas in the NBA, you have all these regional sports networks, which you work for one of them. So there is a great discrepancy between large market teams that have good deals for their television deals and make a lot of money for in arena venues and things like that, and all the different ticket stuff, and then the small market teams. There really is, like, that one exists. Whereas in the NFL, like Jacksonville feels like, because they're sharing the money equally on the TV deal, like they're on a footing with the Niners. Even though we know the Niners, because of Gates and stuff like that, make a lot of other extra money. But there's a lot, like even when the Raiders were in Oakland and they weren't making money, quote unquote, they would get a $250 to $300 million check every single year, which every team in the league gets. These guys now, they don't get it that way. And so there's this small market, big market thing going on. And I understand that from some degree, but like B, we watched San Antonio be a small market team and be successful for years. We're watching the Milwaukee Bucks right now be successful for how many years?
They've been a factor for a number of years.
You know, and
Oklahoma City was a factor for a number of years.
Well, and let's go in the opposite direction. The Knicks are a large market team,
and they stink.
Have been horrible for a long time. The Warriors were a quote-unquote large market team. They've been horrible for a long time.
The Lakers didn't make the playoffs for what, 5-6 straight years?
No, exactly. Like, the Warriors are worth more right now than the Lakers, which was an insane thing to say out loud. So I guess where I'm coming at with this is that I feel like these small market woe is me teams are dictating too much of the terms, both for baseball and for the NBA, and I'm kind of not here for it. Like, for every woe is me Marlin team, I look up at Tampa Bay. I'm like, well, they found a way to be successful.
No doubt.
For every New York Knick that stinks, there's the Warriors on the other end of the large market spectrum. So I feel like we've succumbed to the Oklahoma Cities of the world, and I'm sitting here going, why?
So in case you missed it over the weekend, the NBA and NBPA, the National Basketball Players Association, have reached agreement on a new 7-year collective bargaining agreement promising labor peace through the rest of the decade. So the tentative deal, which starts for the 2023-24 season, was announced by the league and union and is expected to be ratified by league governors and players in the coming weeks. It also includes a mutual opt-out after the 6th season. So here's some of the key elements. Again, the NBA is curbing the ability of the highest-spending teams, such as the Warriors and Clippers, to continue running up salary and luxury tax spending while still maintaining mechanisms to add talent to the roster. The league is implementing a second salary cap apron, $17.5 million over the tax line. And those teams will lose several key team building mechanisms, including the taxpayer mid-level exception, utilizing cash and trades, moving first-round picks in drafts that are 7 years away and signing free agent players in the buyout market and taking out more money than is being sent out in trades. In recent years, there has been an average of 3 teams in its highest salary and tax range, and the NBA decided punitive luxury tax penalties did not curb spending habits of some of the league's wealthiest franchises to exceed the cap. So, under these changes, Golden State wouldn't have Dante DiVincenzo, Milwaukee wouldn't have Joe Ingles, Boston wouldn't have Danilo Gallinari, I should say. I just butchered that. Danilo Gallinari, of course, tore his ACL. And Brooklyn's Patty Mills and former Clippers guard John Wall. They would not have been able to sign these guys had they had this rule implemented this season. That doesn't seem fair, right? Doesn't seem fair. Feels like the Golden State Warriors rule.
Well, it's to me, okay, so like, I would ask Adam Silver and all the NBA as a whole, what are you trying to build? Are you trying to build a league where we're rewarding teams that are drafting and developing their own? Or are we rewarding movement? It feels like this deal is creating more movement than it is rewarding the fans. And I think the number one thing when I look at
rewarding teams that develop and have to pay their players and maybe go over the tax.
It's too penal for that, is what I'm saying. So like I look at like the NFL, B, they have mechanisms in place. I don't love the franchise tag from a player's point of view. From a fan point of view, I know that if you're that good and we come to an impasse, at minimum, I can franchise tag you. And if you're a first round draft pick, you will be on my team for 6 years.
Yeah.
Right? The 5 full of your rookie deal, 6 years. I look at this and I'm saying to myself, okay, in the Warriors scenario where let's say that they can't sign their own, well, they drafted and developed Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson. If they were to, under these rules now, one of those guys would probably have to go. Yep. Well, what about Jordan Poole? They drafted and developed him. Oh, well, can't afford him either. It's like, well, wait a minute. Like, that's too much player movement. And as a fan, I think the number one knock on the NBA, which also can be one of its best, attributes, is there's too much player movement. Like Kevin Durant's one of the all-time great players. Has he been on 5 teams in the last 4 years?
Kevin Durant was just his team number 4.
Okay.
Team number 4.
Kyrie's been on 6.
Right.
5. Like it's too many. And so I understand movement being fun and it's transactional and we like all that. If I'm a fan of a team like the Warriors, I want to be able to retain my own.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Why are the core 3 so beloved? Because they were drafted here, they've won here, they've developed here, and they've decided to stay here.
No doubt. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and AC1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And do not forget that you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. Now, another little nugget before we hit the break that I do not like with this new deal.
That?
It's the in-season tournament. The mid-season tournament.
We have a problem. We have a problem. There's too many games in the regular season.
So let's add games now.
What? Huh?
So the event will include pool play games baked into the regular season schedule starting in November, with 8 teams advancing to a single elimination tournament in December. The Final Four will be held at a neutral site, with Las Vegas being prominent in the discussion. Each in-season tournament game will count towards regular season standings, and the 2 finalists would ultimately play an 83rd game that would not count in the regular season. Winning players and coaches will earn an additional sum there, so $500,000. Now, my thing is, let's say you do win a midseason tournament. Are your stars going to play? Are you going to bench them? Are you going to pop champagne for winning a midseason tournament? Are you going to raise a banner for winning a midseason tournament? I get you want to be like the Premier League, or you pause your league to play in the Champions League or the FA Cup or whatever it is. This, to me, just does not make sense. And Steve Kerr said it yesterday. I thought we needed to play 72 games. I wanted to see our league cut down to 72 games.
I thought that was the sweet spot.
Instead, we had a game.
It doesn't make sense. And the in-season tournament, who was opining for that?
Nobody.
But that's my point.
Nobody.
Like, are they trying to rip off? Like, I'm asking you sincerely. Are they trying to rip off the whole NCAA bracket thing?
No, they're trying to rip off the Premier League, where they pause their league and then they play for additional trophies, like the Champions League.
Yeah, this
like
ain't
the FA Cup.
This ain't Europe.
Like the Euros.
Yeah, they go on like 6-week vacations throughout the year, and we're all jealous of that. But like, that's not what we do here in America, right? I don't understand. Like, I don't see who was asking for this.
Yeah, nobody.
And like, where are you going to put that next to the Larry O'Brien in the trophy case?
Nobody, you imagine somebody lighting a cigar. Oh, we just won the mid-season tournament.
Oh, Dolan would absolutely, from the Knicks, be so happy if he won this.
Let's dump Joe Lacob with a bucket of Gatorade. Woo!
Well, the cool thing about this Premier League and like other ones is because they introduce other leagues around it. So like if this was like Team USA or something against like a World Baseball Classic midseason, like let's say like that would make kind of some sense. But just playing like your same teams you're already playing in the regular season,
play like the top team from Greece and the top team from Russia.
Exactly. That would be cool.
Yeah, Real Madrid.
Whoever
Bring them
Victor
in.
Wembanyama's team is.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, here's the other part, and this is I'm going to get real money here, but like as we're all filing our taxes and getting ready, I think we get extensions till October. I was talking with my buddy Richie Bologna about this, but inflation, Bonte, is this real? Has this touched everyone in the Bay Area? Inflation, current inflation.
Oh yes.
Okay. Depending on who you talk to, it's anywhere from 8 to 10%. Right? That's what the inflation's been over the last couple of years. So, given that America's going through this crazy inflation rate, they're only extending. So, if the super max, right, guys that are getting a 4-year, right now, if you got the max deal right now, Jaylen Brown is trying to get a max deal. It'd be a 4-year, 165 extension under the current rules. Under the new rules, it's a 4-year, 189. That's only a $24 million add-on, which is about 6%. Inflation. So it's not even up to the normal inflation. So if I'm one of the players and I'm representing the players, I'm sitting here going, yeah, you're missing another 4%. Plus, you have to project forward. So in year one, it's a nice increase. But like by the end of the CBA, it's completely outdated and it doesn't keep up with the gains in revenue streams.
Well, Draymond Green was not happy. And he let his feelings out on Twitter over the weekend. We'll go to Rich and Hayward in just a second. But Draymond Green, real quick, let me read these tweets here. He's not happy. As he was tweeting the other day, and he goes, what the heck is going on here? And so he starts tweeting, and he goes, players lose again. Middle and lower spectrum teams don't spend because they don't want to. They want to lose. So increase their spending capabilities. Just to increase them, they continue to cut out the middle. And this is what we rush into a deal for? Shake my damn head, never fails. He then added, never see someone go to a table with the assets that makes an entire machine go and lose every time. Blasphemous. I have a lot more to say about this. Guess I'll save it for the pod. I was excited. A deal about to get done. Trash. Bubba Dub voice. Now, what's the Bubba Dub voice?
I don't know.
Bubba Dub. Somebody explain the Bubba Dub voice. Maybe I'm too old there.
I mean, Bonte, there's a variety of layers to this entire deal. Look, having the ability to waive one guy off of a deal and it not hit your salary cap, but you'd still pay that guy out, I think that would solve a lot of these problems. Having the ability to not have such penal punishments, over-the-top punishments for the top end teams. If Joe Lacob wants to spend that amount of money, that's up to him.
Yep.
To me, he's trying to compete.
Yeah.
If Michael Jordan decides that he doesn't want to hit the luxury tax running the Charlotte Hornets, why should the Golden State Warriors have to curb their spending to appease him?
Yeah, imagine being in the business and you own a business and somebody tells you, you can't spend that.
Well, they're part of they're part of a greater union. They're all working together, which I understand. But again, I think that they've gone too far in the direction of the small market teams.
They have.